Shalom. Call halal Yahweh by Shana Shai by Hashem Bakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen that look like the heathens. And to the Akwath that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And this is the book. This is a book from 1841 about Edo, the historical sketch, Jewish history during the time of the Maccabees. All right, now there are things, as you can see, I actually mentioned this book and displayed it on TikTok. So this is going to go up on the critical race theory and probably the TikTok corner as well. But as you can see, enter into the Act of Congress in the year 1841 by Herman Cope, Treasurer and Trust of the American Sunday School Union in the Clerk's Office of District Court of Eastern District of Pennsylvania. So this was a Sunday school book, all right? And, and this is history written about the Maccabees, all right, for school children. But it refers and takes you to some scriptures. Because I'm going to, go through the whole first chapter and, if the Spirit permits, continue to do so. But I'm going to start on this page here, on page 22. And prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Apocrypha was definitely a part of the Bible, because in this history book, they give you precepts. As you can see, Daniel 21, 11 and 21 right there at the bottom of the page. And it's dead on point to what it's talking about. So why would the history of the Maccabees send you to Daniel, for a reference, as a precept? But let us begin. I'm gonna write right here. I'm starting this. During the reign of Seleucus and his successors down to the year 221 BC, a period nearly 100 years, the Jews enjoyed, and that would be, the kingdom of Judah, because they love putting Jew and Jewish, and that creates a lot of confusion. All right, but it says, so I'm just going to say the Judeans enjoyed almost uninterrupted quiet. The wars which raged on all sides about them did not disturb their tranquility. They seem to have been almost forgotten by the neighboring nations, and as the direction of the wars was such that their country was not made the scene of contest, nor the thoroughfare of the hostile armies. A moderate tribute freed them from all interruptions. This period of rest was needed. The people might gather their strength for troubles which were to follow, because they had just come out of the Assyrian captivity. All right. It says the time was coming when they would need strength. Not the Assyrian, but the Babylonian captivity, Salakia. But the time was coming when they would need the strength of every muscle, when not a single man would be spared, when the accumulated population of the century of peace would be nearly exhausted by ravages of harassing campaigns. The boundaries of kings of Egypt and Syria were soon to be broken up. So, these Edomites that had taken over through Alexander, because they're going to talk about him and his generals. They were now warring with each other like they do now. Esau's constantly, having issues with these European countries. That's why the EU and NATO is falling apart now. All right. And it says, and each was to strive to include Judea in his own territory. In the time of Antiochus the Great, all right, because Alexander the Great and then all his generals called themselves the Great too. It said they all put crowns upon their heads in First Maccabees. And like I said, when I go back to the start of this chapter, we're going to cover all that. But it says the Jews revolted from the mild government of Egypt and chose that of the Greco-Syrian monarchs, whose capital was at Antioch, but they took a heavy yoke. the age of Antiochus Epiphanes, the illustrious, or as he was more properly called by his subjects, Epiphanes the insane. See, I didn't know that. I just learned some history. Was destined to be memorable on one to the Jews, the king, the son, but not the immediate successor of Antiochus the Great, succeeded to the throne of Syria by stratagem, instead of Demetrius, the son of his brother, the true heir of the kingdom. Historians gave strange account of his follies. All right. And then we're going to read that Daniel. OK, I also want to read this Hosea. I want to read Hosea 8:8 when it said that they seem to have been almost forgotten by the neighboring nations, as the direction of the wars was such that their own country was not made the scene of contest. Well, that didn't last long, because eventually, the Israelites got scattered among all the countries around the whole compass of the world, actually. But this is a Hosea 8:8, and it reads, Israel is swallowed up. Now shall they be among the Gentiles as vessels wherein there is no pleasure. And being that they were among the Gentiles, vessels wherein there was no pleasure, meaning that they had taken on their ways of life, all right, their customs. They were leaving their own customs alone. And thus, in the eyes of Israelites who did not forsake the law or tried to keep it, these Israelites were labeled Gentiles, and these were Israelite foreigners. But they were, as a matter of fact, you would consider an Israelite foreigner if you weren't born in the land, even if you were keeping the laws. All right. So, Esau, Edom, and people like Vocab Malone, the apologists. Oh, yeah. And I look forward to any apologists answering those 10 questions that the elder Manata Zakba put up. But I doubt if they do it, because I gave them 7 a couple years back, and Vocab, completely ignored that. So, Elder Manata Zakba, I assume that they're probably going to ignore your questions as well. But it would be delightful to see them try to answer those. I would like to see them try to answer those 10 questions. But let's go to Daniel, the 21st chapter. And it's verse 21, 11 and 21, but I'm going to read a little bit into that. So this is Daniel 11. I said the Babylonians, Persian means. But anyway, I'm going to start at verse 7. But it says, out of the branch of her roots shall one stand up in his estate, which shall come with an army, and shall enter into the fortress of the kingdom of the north, and shall deal great against them, and shall prevail. And also carry captives into Egypt their gods, with their princes, with their precious vessels of silver, of gold, and he shall continue more years than the king of the north. And the king of the south shall come into his kingdom, and shall return into his own land. All right. So these are these 2 kingdoms that we're talking about, that I just read about, that were facing off between each other. The boundaries of the kings of Egypt and Syria. All right. Right here. OK, that's exactly what this is talking about. All right. And it says, but the sons shall be stirred up, and shall be assembled in a multitude of great forces, and one shall certainly come and overflow and pass through. Then shall he return and be stirred up, even to his fortress. And the king of the south shall be moved with the color, and some come back and forth with him, even with the king of the north. And he shall set forth a great multitude, but the multitude shall be given unto his hand. All right. Because these 2 kings were fighting back and forth, all right? And it says, and when he had taken away the multitude, his heart shall be lifted up, and he shall cast down many 10,000s, but shall not be strengthened by it. For the king of the north shall return, and shall set up the multitude greater than the former, and shall certainly come after the years when a great army with much riches. And in those times shall many stand up against the king of the south. Also robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish divisions, but they shall fall. So, you had people like Jason. He's going to be mentioned in this chapter, who connived to make himself high priest, and he really was no priest. He was a wicked Israelite that was actually leading the people astray, kind of like Vocab Malone, T.D. Jakes, like the brother said, Theft Low Dollar, Paula White and Joyce Meyer, Kenneth Copeland, all these people. All right, lead them astray. Verse 16. But he that cometh against him shall do according to his own will, and none shall stand before him, and shall stand up in the glorious land, which is by his hand shall be consumed. He shall set his face to enter with the strength of the whole kingdom, upright ones with him. Thus shall he do, and shall give him the daughter of women, corrupting her. But she shall not stand on his side, neither be for him. And after this he shall return his face unto the isles, and shall take many. But the prince of his own on his own behalf shall cause the reproach offered by him to cease. Without his own reproach he shall cause it to return upon him. Then he shall turn his face toward the fort of his own land, and shall stumble and fall and not be found. Then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes, the glory. And this is talking about Antiochus Epiphanes. All right. And it says, the raiser of taxes in the glory of the kingdom, but within a few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle. And his estate shall stand up a vile person. All right. A vile person, to whom they shall not give honor of the kingdom, but shall come peaceably and obtain the kingdom by flatteries. That's Antiochus Epiphanes. All right. And it says right here, it says, let me continue reading. Historians give a strange account of his follies. He often lounged like a mere idler about the streets of Antioch, attended by 2 or 3 servants, not dining to look at the nobles, would talk with goldsmiths and other merchants in the workshops, engage in trifling and idle conversation with the lowest of the people, and mingle in society of foreigners and men of the vilest character. All right. So and so this history that's written in this book is a history that you found in Daniel, the 21st chapter. the 11th chapter. All right. And this was talking about Antiochus Epiphanes, who really became a thorn and a wicked, a very wicked, vile oppressor to the Israelites. Okay. So I'm gonna, that was pretty much what I'm gonna do just today. But like I said, I'm going to go back to the beginning and read back up to that point all the way up until we get to chapter 2. And Yahweh Ratazah, you see, I've underlined certain things and wrote down scriptures. So Yahweh Ratazah, I'm gonna try to make this a regular lesson for a while. All right. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakak Badash, Wa Abba Babal, Kwam Yasharala, Shalom.